Although rich and famous people make millions of dollars throughout their careers, some of them still manage to lose it all. Today, we are going to be looking at 10 rich and famous people who lost all of their money at one point in their careers. Some of them managed to bounce back, while others remain in financial trouble. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Let's start. Number 10. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, nicknamed Iron Mike, is arguably the greatest boxer of all time. It is undeniable that in his prime, he was the hardest-hitting boxer the sport has ever seen. He won his first 19 professional fights by knockout, 12 of them in the first round. He is also the youngest ever to win a world heavyweight title when he defeated Trevor Berbick via knockout in the second round. With the distinction of being the youngest heavyweight boxing champion in history, he pulled in a $400 million fortune throughout his career. With that amount of money, you would think one can never spend it all. Well, you'd be wrong though. Tyson was known to be an extravagant spender and would recklessly spend money on cars, luxury watches, mansions, parties, and was even said to once have bought an entire BMW showroom just to impress somebody. Additionally, many people took advantage of Mike and would help themselves to his cars, would live in his mansions, and would take whatever they pleased. At one point, after Mike had found several $1,000s that he had forgotten in his laundry, everyone in his entourage would offer to take his clothes to the cleaners just in case Mike had left some cash in his clothes that they could then help themselves to. Tyson filed for bankruptcy in 2003. According to the New York Times, Mike's debts totaled over $20 million. For everything from $200,000 diamond chains to having $13 million in back taxes and $50,000 in unpaid child support. He has recently, however, been on more stable ground financially and is planning on fighting in a couple celebrity charity boxing matches in the coming months. Number 9. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is one of the greatest entertainers in the history of music. Known as the King of Pop, he was extremely talented and was a singer, songwriter, and dancer. When he was just a child, Jackson was the lead singer of his family's popular Motown group, the Jackson 5. After he left the group, he went on to have an amazing solo career, achieving astounding worldwide success, delivering #1 hits, and released the albums Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. Along with stardom comes big money, and Michael had no shortage of it. It is estimated that through his career, he raked in close to $300 million. Unfortunately for Michael, he would spend the money faster than he could make it. In 1998, he paid $17 million for the 2,800-acre ranch in California that would become Neverland. Maintaining the theme park swallowed up about $5 million annually. Furthermore, bad investments and a divorce settlement with Elisa Marie Presley put even more financial strain on Jackson's finances. As Jackson gradually retreated from work, the additional millions eaten up by plane charters, antiques, lavish gifts, and a legal dispute that costed Jackson $20 million to settle left a gaping hole in his fortune. By the mid-2000s, Jackson was believed to be $270 million in debt. The singer unfortunately passed away in 2009 and was more than $400 million in debt at the time. Number 8. 50 Cent. 50 Cent broke out onto the rap scene in the late 90s, but he made most of his money from a diverse business empire. He invested early on in vitamin water, then made $100 million after the company was sold to Coca-Cola in 2007. He also boasted endorsement deals for products such as Reebok, Right Guard, and Vitamin Water, as well as his own G-Unit Records and G-Unit Clothing Company. However, despite all of his financial successes, 50 Cent ran into some trouble. 50 Cent was ordered by a judge to pay LaStonia Levinson $7 million for posting an inappropriate tape online without Levinson's consent as payback to a rival rapper he was feuding with at the time. The sum was in addition to $17 million a federal judge ordered 50 Cent to hand over to headphone manufacturer Sleek Audio, after an arbitration hearing ruled that the G-Unit Records head copied the design of Sleek Audio's product. As a result of all of this, 50 Cent racked up $32 million of debt and was forced to file for bankruptcy. He has made a comeback, however, and is said to be on more stable financial ground at the moment. Number 7. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was once the highest paid actor on TV. The Two and a Half Men star earned $1.8 million per episode in the show's final season, and then took home $2 million per episode of anger management after it passed its 100th episode. Things took a downward turn for the actor when in 2011 he broke Hollywood tact and went on a trash-talking campaign against a Two and a Half Men executive producer, Chuck Lorre, who called him all sorts of names including troll and stupid little man. He said that he was blacklisted after that incident and had a hard time finding work because of it. Charlie's debts are enormous, and in new court papers, Charlie's lawyer claims that he can't afford to pay child support any longer. Charlie is paying two exes, Denise Richards and Brooke Mueller, $75,000 per month in child support. Charlie also owes millions of dollars to his lawyers, in addition to the $5 million he owes to the IRS, as well as house payments he has yet to pay. Number 6. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is a 5-time NBA champion and is one of the greatest rebounders ever. He played alongside teammate Michael Jordan when Michael won his second three-peat before going on to become an eccentric celebrity. Outside of sports, Rodman was known for a short marriage to Carmen Electra and bizarrely befriended North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, and became an unofficial U.S. ambassador to North Korea. Despite making millions of dollars as an NBA superstar, in 2012, Rodman's lawyers said he could barely afford living expenses and could not pay child support for his two kids. At the time, he reportedly owed over $800,000 in back child support, and in court documents, his lawyer said he was broke and sick. Recently, Rodman was accused of stealing a 400-pound amethyst crystal from a yoga studio, as well as more than $500 worth of clothing from brands like Spiritual Gangster and Lululemon. He denied the allegations and said the merchandise was given as a gift. It's safe to say he has fallen on hard times. Number 5. Nicolas Cage. Best known for his roles in movies such as National Treasure and Leaving Las Vegas, Nicolas Cage was once a top earner in Hollywood, worth $150 million. But Cage couldn't hold on to his fortune for long. He squandered it away on a string of expensive and often eccentric purchases. He was known to purchase luxurious houses, and at one point owned 15 residences, including a $25 million waterfront home in Newport Beach, California, a $15.7 million countryside estate in Newport, Rhode Island, and an $8.5 million abode in Las Vegas. Over in Europe, Cage also owned not one but two castles, worth $10 million and $2.3 million. He also squandered money on ridiculous extravagant purchases, such as a pet octopus for $150,000, and the late Shah of Iran's Lamborghini, which set him back another $450,000. Because of all his major spending issues and equally hefty problems with his financial advisor, Cage was forced to foreclose on several properties, and the IRS slapped the actor with a $6.2 million tax lien in 2009. Cage sued his money manager, claiming negligence and fraud. Number 4. Johnny Depp. At the peak of his career, Depp was raking in $30 million for every Pirates of the Caribbean movie and was said to have been worth $650 million. However, Depp's penchant for fancy cars, mansions, and parties led his lavish lifestyle to come crashing down around him. It is rumored that at one point he was spending $2 million a month. In 2017, during a meeting with his financial team, Depp was shocked to learn that he had actually accumulated quite a large amount of debt. Depp filed for a $25 million lawsuit against his financial team, alleging that they had mishandled his millions and left him broke. However, it is very likely that that was only part of it, and that his extravagant spending habits had something to do with his financial ruin, too. Number 3. Larry King. Before he became one of cable TV's most recognizable talking heads, Larry King's journalism career was almost completely derailed by criminal charges brought against him. Larry was accused of stealing 5,000 pounds from his former business partner, Lou Wolfson. The charges were eventually dropped, but as a result of the allegations, he couldn't find a regular journalism job for more than 4 years. As a result of all this, his alimony payments and living a lifestyle way beyond his means for years on end, he was forced to file bankruptcy in 1978 when he found himself $300,000 in debt. He bounced back after a while and eventually found his way to broadcasting. In 1978, The Larry King Show was first broadcasted on Miami radio, and the rest is history. Number 2. Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger had a net worth of $7 million, but blew it all by making bad decisions. In 1989, Basinger paid $20 million for the town of Braselton, Georgia. She was expected to create a tourist attraction, such as a theme park or movie studio, but she instead declared bankruptcy in 1993 and had to sell the property. What forced her to declare bankruptcy? Well, Basinger was sued by Boxing Helena producer Carl Massacone for backing out of an oral contract to star in the film. She lost the court case and was ordered to pay $8.1 million in damages and lawyer fees. She later settled for $3.8 million. Basinger then took a 3-year break from acting, but came back to take the role of Veronica Lake in the film LA Confidential. The film won her a Golden Globe, and since then her career has made a comeback. She now has a net worth of $36 million. Number 1. Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds, at the height of his career, was bringing home $10 million a year, but died with a net worth of only $5 million. Like many celebrities, he lived way beyond his means. He boasted an impressive real estate spread, and he also owned a private jet, a helicopter, numerous unique sports cars, and 150 horses. He spent over $100,000 in toupees alone. And although he dominated Hollywood in the 70s and made a boatload of money, due to his lavish spending, Reynolds was forced to file for bankruptcy in 1996 after falling into more than $10 million of debt. And there you have it, 10 famous rich people who lost their fortune. What other videos would you like to see? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.